Welcome, MED cohort, to EDUC 616, Improving Instruction. I am one of your instructors for this course. There's actually going to be two of us, but my name is Louise Wilson, and my colleague, Meg Cavalier, is going to be co-teaching the course with me, and you will hear from her also in another introductory video. But this video is basically to introduce you to the course. And I will do some introduction of myself also later in another video. But this is a course that I've taught for several years in the graduate school, and I love teaching it, actually. The title of it basically says what it is about, and that is improving how we do teaching and learning, and especially improving teaching and learning for the 21st century. I've had a passion for several years about school reform and things that need to be changed in education. And so this course shares a lot of things that I have learned over the years about that topic and am still learning, and you'll hear more about that from me as we go through this. I'm going to open the syllabus. First of all, the Moodle site's laid out pretty much the same as the other Moodle sites for the courses you've been on, I think, but we'll review that too in a little bit. And the syllabus, which I'm going to go through now, the syllabus is obviously also included on the Moodle site. So as you go through each weekly session, the part of the syllabus that's relevant to that session will be visible to you. You're also obviously welcome to open the syllabus, download it to your laptop, or print it. If you like to have a printed copy of the whole syllabus, you are welcome to do that. But it is going to be here. It'll be posted on the Moodle site as you go along. So just a little bit to talk to you about the course itself. Again, it's a course that really is about thinking and learning, first of all, about how people learn. How does the brain work? How do we learn? How do human beings learn? And what do we do in terms of being teachers to teach to the capabilities of people and how they learn well and what we know about how people learn? There's going to be a segment in this course on thinking and thinking routines and how we think. There will also be a section in the course on new models of teaching and learning, ideas for school reform, schools that are out there that are doing unique things. You'll learn from Meg, a school that she's the head of, which is also doing some innovative things in their school. Here's the breakdown by week. So you can see the first 3 weeks really are about the concept of teaching and learning and some of the theories around how we need to teach and how people learn. So the first week is on how the brain works, how children and all of us learn and how the brain works to activate that. The second week is on thinking strategies, how to think out loud as teachers, to bring our students into our own brains and how we're thinking, and also to give you some ideas as well as some actual specific classroom routines that you can use to help your students think visibly and be more out there in terms of what's going on in their heads. The third week is about backward design, and it's basically the concept of let's start with the end point. Where do we want our students to be at the end of the year or the course that we're teaching, and then move back from there to how we're going to teach so they get there. The last 3 weeks really are then about school reform and new ideas. Week 4 goes through basically a couple of sabbatical studies that I did on school reform, traveled around the country, learned about different models and unique models of teaching and learning, including many of which are right here in our local Twin Cities area. So I'll tell you a little bit about that. Week 5 is a summary of some interesting topics that are coming out of Harvard's graduate school. Project Zero, which is actually Howard Gardner's part of the Graduate School of Education, is at Harvard, and I've been to several of their conferences, and this is a pulling together of a lot of those key ideas. And then week 6 is an opportunity for you to pull a lot of this together in addition to all the other things that you've learned and thought about and experienced in your teaching experience, to create your vision of the school of the 21st century. If you could design the school of your dreams and have it function the way you think all people should, in which all people should teach and learn and come together, then that's your chance to create that for your final project. So here are some of the learner outcomes. Those are summaries, pretty much says what we were just talking about in terms of the topics of the course. How do people learn? What factors should we think about? How do we design instruction? And what are some features from effective schools? What are we learning from studying effective schools that tells us what's going to work? So you can read through the learning objectives should you want to do that. Here's a page of contact information for myself and Meg and how you can get a hold of us. We'll talk a little bit more later too about how we're going to operate, function. Basically, we've divided all of you into 2 groups, and so when you post to the discussion forum every week, you'll post to a smaller group, about half the size of the full group, and interact with them instead of trying to interact with everybody. And that way we can interact with a smaller group of you too. These are the resources that are recommended or really required for the course. I just want to tell you, I know that sometimes people don't like the fact that you have to purchase 3 books, and the 3 books are basically the texts for the first 3 weeks. So there's considerable reading kind of heavily weighted at the beginning of the course. On the other hand, first of all, these are books that are not textbooks in the traditional sense. These are books that are published by educational publishers, and they're available to teachers everywhere. And frankly, I have all 3 of these books, have them on my shelves. I use them regularly. These are practical books. These are books to help you as teachers, and both of these, or all 3 of these authors, I think Grant Wiggins unfortunately has passed away, but the others are all here and actively doing speaking engagements and workshops and so forth. So these are books that we think will make a difference for your teaching. You also don't have to read them word for word. I think in each session, a few of the chapters are highlighted as maybe being the key chapters for the session. And you can skim them at however works for you, and go back and read them more thoroughly sometime in the future if you want to do that. But anyway, those are the required reading. The weekly schedule is pretty much what you've been doing. It's basically a Tuesday through Monday. So your assignments are due every week by midnight on the Monday at the end of that week. Your initial posts should be posted to the discussion forum by Friday of that week, and then with replies to posts, you're required to post at least 3 replies to one of your classmates also by midnight on Monday the following week. This is just the netiquette, which you've probably had in your other courses already. You can look at it if you want to. And this is just a summary again of the postings. Though this is an online course, we try to make it as interactive as possible. So we want you to have active accessibility to the website, and we want you to be actively engaged with each other as you go through the week. And you get to know each other that way. You start talking about what you think about this topic, or asking each other questions. And I know as I've taught this course now online for several years, taught it face-to-face for a few years, and now have taught it online for several years. And frankly, I love the kind of interaction that we often get on the discussion forums as you interact with each other. Meg and I will be interacting with you too, but I really, really enjoy the active interaction between and among students as you post your ideas and thoughts and then give feedback to each other. Okay, so this is basically just a few other things talking about the assignments for the week and so forth. These are the major assignments and how they'll be graded. The first 3 weeks are shorter, smaller assignments, written assignments, and you'll read about what each one is, and each of those is worth 10% of the grade. And then your required discussion posts are required for every week, and those are 6% of the grade for each time you post, so that's another third of the grade. And then there are 2 bigger assignments. Week 4, there's a paper called, it's a web quest, basically. It's on school reform, and it's asking you to go, you'll get a list of some innovative schools and school models, and then we'll ask you to go pick 3 of them, go online, research them, and then write a paper about each one and why you think it's effective and why you think it's working for kids. And then your final paper, as I mentioned before, is a paper on your vision of the ideal school or ideal classroom. If you could just start from scratch and design the environment for learning that in your view would be ideal for you and your students, here's your opportunity to do that and write it all up. So that's the overview, and then we get into each of the weeks. Each of the weeks is designed the same way. There's the outcomes at the beginning, essential questions, the rationale, there's almost every week there will be a narrated PowerPoint for you to watch, and each of these is also posted on the Moodle site. So as you start going through the events of each of the weeks, you'll see them there, and they'll be more obvious to you as you go through the session. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we do the next couple of videos.